So once again, we're back on the 60 MGA restoration project, doing some more final assembly. Okay, when I was trying to adjust this before, when I had this on here, it was actually pulling the bonnet down too far. I needed it to extend this a little bit more, but this was frozen solid and about out of adjustment anyway. So I've made me this little shim here to put on here to bring it down lower, try to get the bonnet sitting at the height I want it at. And then I've also freed this thing up and worked it so I could get a little bit of adjustment out of it to try to get the height I need. So I'm going to put these bolts in it and then see what we get. All right, let's see if I'm even in the ballpark with this. Obviously my adjustment's a little off. I need to play with the positioning of this first. So I'll be back in a second. All right, so I just moved this around a little bit till it felt like it was kind of hitting the center of the hole there. Now we'll see what we got. All right, we're a little high now, which is what I was looking for. Now I can readjust that to bring it down lower to get it the height I want. Now these are much more difficult to adjust than the ones on the MGB because the B has a slot here and then the nut up here. So you can adjust them in position by turning it and unlocking it. This, it's all up here in the top, so it's up inside the bonnet and much more difficult to play with. So you pretty much have to take it out, get an adjustment, put it back in, try it. It's not what you want, then take it back out, get an adjustment, put it back in, try it again. So when I got all this broke free, I purposely adjusted it a little lower so that in the end I was hoping this would be a little high and then I have to pull it down some. So that was good. So now let's try it again. All right, so now an adjustment in between what I had there before and what I have now should do it. All right, after a little bit of trial and error to get the height right on that. And then I had to play with it a little bit just to get it forward and backward to where it wouldn't stick. And now, I think we're looking pretty good here. Pretty good happy medium. Feels pretty flush here. And you can feel it in one spot here, slightly under here. It's pretty flush. And yeah, I think that's our probably best fit we're going to get out of this. So here's our gaps. MGA bonnets don't normally fit much better than that. I'll take that. So now that we've got the height adjusted on this and seem to have it closing really well, what I wanted to do was ensure that it opens and closes smoothly and doesn't bind up. So actually, this is the next week, and I wanted to make sure with weather changes or whatever, we didn't get binding before I put the grill in. So I wanted to make sure it opens nice and smooth. And the other thing is, like right now I have the rod pulled so it's not released, so it's not latching, because one of the other problems you can have is you push down on it and you overextend this a little bit. If the post here isn't actually going in to the latch properly and it's a little bit of an angle, it can actually catch behind the latch and get stuck when you push it too far. And I was having that issue and I tweaked it just a little bit to stop it from doing that, and now it's not doing that anymore. And I want to make sure of that before I put the grill in. So now it appears we got the bonnet opening and closing like it should. Now we can put the grill in. The grill is kind of interesting in how it mounts, because you got 3 bolts that come up through the bottom from underneath through these 3 holes, and the captive nuts, which we got one missing here. Yes, we are using his original grill. It's not perfect condition by any means, but we're reusing it, and it fits the body really nicely. And I actually did the body work to fit this grill. One of the most common mistakes made restoring these is not doing the body work to fit the grill. If you're going to replace the grill, you have to have the new one when you do the body work, and make sure the body and the grill fit each other, because this whole front area here is often misshapen, and aftermarket grills are not always the same shape as the originals. So you got to work to get this area shaped exactly the same as this is shaped, or tweak both of them through the process of body work before you paint. You can't do these things, paint them, and then go buy a grill, or they'll never fit. And you'll see why when we finish, why it's so important, you know, later on once it's in place and we start putting the welting in. This is why the grill has to fit perfect. But there's also 3 bolts that come in through the top here through a flange. Now you just got to be very careful to set that in there, and then get all those bolts started, but don't tighten them. Just get them started so the grill can still move around and pull away from the body a little bit. Not a whole lot of room to work with this center one. Actually, I gotta make an adjustment to the grill. Be back in a minute. So my problem was this bracket was not lining up to the hole. I just had to bend it up a little bit, which got it closer to it and brought it back more where it needs to be to line up to the hole. So the interesting and rather difficult part of actually installing these things is the welting here. The edge of the grill sits down into this groove, and that's the only thing holding this in, which is why the grill has to fit the body really well, or this just kind of pops out and doesn't sit very well and frustrates you. So I put a little dot right there, marking the center point that I can put right here, and we just get it, and we have to work this up underneath the grill and work it all the way around. Hopefully the grill is just loose enough still, with the bolts as they are, to just get that to work around. You need to have the profile of the grill to fit the car really well. Plus you also need it to sit down into this groove really well, which that's the real trick of the bodywork portion of it. And this is where those little nylon tools can really help too, to help keep that sitting right where you want it as you're tightening everything down. Let me go get one of those. Now the real trick is being able to get all of this to sit nice all the way around as you're tightening it down. And you have to actually push in while you're tightening those across the top here. If I remember correctly, I don't remember if these things came, I don't think these things came all the way around and met in the middle. I thought they just stopped. Might have to double check that detail real quick before I finish. I thought they just stopped right here, but this is definitely long enough to go all the way around. So I'll have to double check that before I finish tightening everything down and filming all this. But we can work on the top here, pull this in and tighten that, and come over here, pull this in, tighten that one, and over here pull this one in and tighten that one. But if the grill doesn't actually fit the body very well, you will fight this and fight this and fight this, and as you drive the car it'll be popping out and moving around and never sit right like you want it. So after a little bit of fussing around and tweaking and pushing as you're tightening things down to keep everything nice and tight and straight, you can end up with a pretty decent fit if the grill fits the car to start with. And yes, I did double check, and this is supposed to come all the way around and meet in the middle here. Most of the cars I've seen have just come right down here and stopped right here, so I've forgotten that they actually did go all the way around. But there we go, got the grill in place.